you're going to put a black female from that league on that real estate, shouldn't it be Asia, not Angel Reese? But why did they put her on it? Because there's a direct connection to a certain player who hails from Iowa City.
The 2023 basketball season saw an unexpected explosion of energy, not from the professional leagues but from college basketball, where two standout athletes, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, captivated the sports world. It wasn't just about their skills on the court. It was their personalities, raw competitiveness, and ability to command attention that had fans glued to their screens. And when these two collided, it sent shockwaves through the basketball community, sparking debates, criticisms, and discussions that extended beyond just their games. From viral moments to on-court controversies, the buzz surrounding Reese and Clark wasn't just about basketball, it was a spectacle in itself. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Angel Reese, known for her intensity and aggressive play, was not one to shy away from confrontation. She had been a dominant presence for LSU, bringing not only talent but a bold, unapologetic attitude. Reese's playing style was aggressive, physical, and most importantly, confident. She wasn't just playing to win games, she was playing to make a statement. Her opponents were often caught off guard by her assertiveness, and this demeanor wasn't something that the basketball experts or even her own peers could easily ignore. Reese's personality on the court could only be described as electric, and she didn't mind letting people know what she was about. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, brought a different flavor to the game. The Iowa standout had a knack for shooting the lights out, and her range was unmatched. Whether she was pulling up from 30 feet or finding a way to squeeze a pass through a sea of defenders, Clark was always a threat. She didn't rely on physicality as much as Reese did, but her basketball IQ and sharpshooting made her just as dangerous. Clark's confidence was quieter but no less palpable. While Reese would get in your face, Clark would simply drain a deep three-pointer, turn around, and walk back to defense as if nothing had happened. She knew she was good, and she didn't need to scream it for everyone to understand. The basketball world is filled with flashy players, but Clark and Reese brought something else: personality. This, of course, wasn't always appreciated by everyone. Critics often questioned their attitudes, their confrontational style of play, and even their behavior off the court. Basketball purists wanted to see good, clean games. What they got instead was a battle of wills, taunts, and celebrations that sometimes bordered on the controversial. This tension reached its peak when Angel Reese made a gesture towards Caitlin Clark during a heated championship game, and suddenly the sports community found itself at the center of a cultural storm. Reese's actions were simple, but their impact was far-reaching. In the final moments of LSU's victory over Iowa in the NCAA Women's Championship, she mimicked Clark's own gesture, "And you can't see me wave," popularized by WWE wrestler John Cena. It wasn't just a gesture, it was a statement, a message that she, and by extension her team, had outplayed Clark and Iowa. Some saw it as unsportsmanlike, others as a justified response, but regardless of opinion, it set off a debate that swept across social media, sports networks, and even casual fans who had no particular stake in women's college basketball. For basketball experts, this was a moment that could not be ignored. Sports analysts jumped in immediately, dissecting every second of the interaction between Reese and Clark. Some praised Reese for her confidence, for standing tall in a moment of triumph, and showing the same brashness that had characterized Clark all season. Others, however, criticized her, saying she had taken things too far and should have respected her opponent. The divide between these opinions only added fuel to the fire, as both athletes became symbolic of a broader conversation about competitiveness, sportsmanship, and the culture of basketball. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's reaction was much more subdued. She didn't fire back or argue after the game. In fact, she remained largely composed throughout the whole ordeal. This only further stoked the conversation. Some wondered why Clark, who had made similar gestures during the season, wasn't being criticized to the same extent as Reese. The double standard became a talking point for commentators and fans alike, raising questions about how race and gender intersected with these athletes' treatment in the media. But amidst all the noise, Clark stayed focused. She knew what mattered most: winning games, and the talk of disrespect didn't seem to faze her. The back and forth between Reese and Clark wasn't limited to one game. This rivalry, although rooted in mutual respect, became something much bigger than either of them could have anticipated. It was no longer just about LSU versus Iowa, or who the better player was. It was about what these athletes represented. For Angel Reese, it was the unapologetic celebration of black female excellence in a space where she knew she would face criticism. For Caitlin Clark, it was about embodying the quiet, steely confidence of someone who could let her game do the talking. Both women were dominant in their own way, and their clash highlighted the different paths to greatness within the sport. When it came to the WNBA, the excitement surrounding both athletes was palpable. The league had been looking for its next big stars, and it seemed like Clark and Reese were poised to carry the torch. Their arrival in the WNBA promised to bring a new wave of energy and attention, as fans and experts eagerly anticipated how their college success would translate to the professional level. In a league often searching for ways to increase visibility and fan engagement, the larger-than-life personalities of Reese and Clark seemed like the perfect fit. For Angel Reese, the WNBA would be a chance to continue playing with the same fire that had made her a household name in college. Her physicality and passion were tailor-made for the professional stage, and many wondered how her confrontational style would mesh with the veterans of the league. Would she clash with established stars, or would she elevate her game to an even higher level? Either way, Reese's entry into the WNBA was sure to shake things up, and her presence alone guaranteed that she would be one of the most talked-about rookies in recent memory. Caitlin Clark's journey to the WNBA was expected to be just as thrilling. Her deep shooting and high basketball IQ had drawn comparisons to some of the game's greatest shooters, and experts speculated that her skill set would immediately translate to success in the pro game. Clark wasn't just a scorer. She was a floor general, someone who could take control of a game from the point guard position and dictate the flow of play. Her ability to stretch the floor with her shooting made her a perfect fit for the modern style of play, and it was clear that WNBA teams would be lining up for the chance to draft her. The tension between Reese and Clark, however, wasn't expected to dissipate once they reached the WNBA. If anything, their rivalry would likely intensify as they continued to compete against each other on the biggest stage. Fans couldn't wait to see how their matchups would play out in the professional league, with each player bringing their unique style and flair to the court. The WNBA, always eager to build storylines that resonate with fans, would no doubt capitalize on the drama between these two stars, using their rivalry to draw in new audiences and keep existing fans engaged. As the hype around both players grew, basketball experts found themselves in a bit of a bind. On one hand, the rise of Reese and Clark represented everything the game should be about: youthful energy, fierce competition, and the breaking down of barriers. On the other hand, the controversy surrounding their interactions raised questions about how far players should go in expressing themselves on the court. The line between confidence and disrespect became increasingly blurred, and experts were forced to grapple with what it all meant for the future of basketball. As they prepared to make the leap to the WNBA, all eyes were on what would come next. The experts who had once been so critical of their style now had to admit that Reese and Clark had something special. They had broken through in ways that few players ever do, transcending the game itself and becoming cultural icons. The future of women's basketball was bright, and with Reese and Clark leading the way, it was clear that this was only the beginning of something much bigger. In the end, the impact of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark wasn't just about stats or championships. It was about how two young women, each with their own distinct approach to the game, managed to shake up the status quo and leave their mark on basketball forever. The experts may have been shocked, but the fans, they were just getting started. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.